I mean, United players struggling with the level of expectation.
I don't know what's coming out of his mouth. I feel sorry for him. He's out of his depth. And if anything, he's too nice. He should be throwing the blame solely on the players now, because he's done anyway. What the players' performance in that game was poor. Again, lack of direction, lack of intensity, lack of pride, lack of quality. It was a really, really bad performance, and another one. Not just a blip. This has gone on week in, week out for too long. He is partly to blame, the manager.
Yeah. But he's been too honest here, Danny. Should he not be coming out swinging at these players?
Too honest, yeah. He should be saying what he sees to get himself a little bit off the hook. But, he's been brought into a situation that he was never qualified to deal with. Simon talking about Frank Lampard not having the qualities of a relegation battle, that fine, okay, if you're going to go down that argument, why the hell would you bring Rangnick into Manchester United? Where has he been in a job with that pressure, be that type of player, that expectancy, that nowhere at all.
This was a man that
you
liked Simon. You thought he was all right.
I agreed with Souness on day one when I was asked the question. I didn't see the appointment being anything but a failure, and that's the way it is. Now, the players have to take some responsibility, because they're top quality, some of them. And they've proven elsewhere that they can play top quality football.
Yeah.
So they have to look in the mirror.
But it's all too easy, Danny. De Gea comes out post-match. It's a disgrace from us. We should be winning this game. We don't score. We don't create proper... Roy always says, another apology. He's right.
Why is he saying it in the...
And why is it always De Gea that's wheeled out?
Why aren't you saying it in the four walls in front of your teammates, having a dig at each other on the pitch? Ronaldo's petulance, coming off the pitch and always whinging when he's...
we're going to get into that.
Okay, I mean... Look,
so have you done a U-turn on your man, Rangnick?
I'm in the same position of hearing David De Gea say the same thing. I'm not sure there's an apology in there. He's saying it's a disgrace. What would you have him say? He comes out on television. Well, they want him out on television. Someone's got to say something, right? So he stands in front of the screen because they get a player out there. That's the format. That's the contractual obligations they have with the broadcaster. Yeah, what's he going to do then? He's going to pay lip service to it and say, we did our level best. Everyone's going to say, what the hell's wrong with you? Why don't you call it as it is? So he calls it as it is and says it's a disgrace. He's not a disgrace. His goalkeeping is pretty good. So he can have that luxury. That's why probably he's in a position to be able to go out there and say anything, because he's not the one in question currently. Going to Rangnick, if you read this man's bio and if you read the press about him before he came into the Man United job, you thought you were going to get somebody that wasn't going to tolerate any of the nonsense of a bunch of prima donnas strolling around thinking that Man United are lucky to have them.
Based on what? When do you read the press and use it as a yardstick for somebody?
It depends who writes it, and it depends if the content makes sense, and you look back at the body of work he's done, you look at his interactions with people that have owned football clubs that have been very wealthy, and say, OK...
Danny's right, Simon. Don't try and get out of it. When did you use the media? When did you ever use the media to make your mind up for you?
No. You always use the media to look at it and critique it and evaluate it. And I'm very critical of the media when I don't think they're on the money. And I'm also fair when the media are on the money.
So you were persuaded by the media that Rangnick was...
No, I looked at Rangnick.
Yeah, that's what you
I looked at Rangnick and I thought there's a possibility that, judging by where he's been in terms of the clubs that he worked with and the changes that he made there and the attitude that I did see reported through the media, but coming from his words, quotes directly from him, not supposition from the media, I thought someone's going to come in here and liven them up. I thought there's someone that's going to change the way they're thinking, not going to have any nonsense from them, and build them possibly into a team that has a bit of respect for them. And I was wrong, because I now look at them and
say... But not just that, though. They've got worse under him.
Yeah, they have.
Well,
they'd be in a better position.
Yeah, hold on. We reached a point. And you may well be right. We'll never know. That's hypothesis. We reached a point where there was an apex against Watford where they were so bad... They were so bad that it had gone. We've got players behind the manager doing gestures to the fans, whatever they were, but acknowledging their part.
They were dreadful on Saturday against Everton.
And where they are now...
Would you have fancied playing for Rangnick, Danny?
Well, I don't know him, so not from afar, no. But the point is, you're asking somebody to do a job they're not capable of doing. Irrelevant what the press said, because Jurgen Klopp and a couple of other people said nice things about him, we think he was a genius. But actually, if you look at his football, he was at Red Bull and Schalke. We're talking about Man United in a world of trouble.
But we're talking about Manchester United that need to go through a transition. We're talking about Man United that ultimately need a leader, irrespective of where he comes from, to be able to take them through the gears back into a place. Now, he's not proven to be the case. Neither was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, neither was Mourinho, neither was Louis van Gaal, neither was David Moyes. Have a look at the bigger picture and say, neither are the guys behind the scenes. the recruitment policy. We keep on talking about these wonderful, talented players and all the players that they're buying that are wonderful. Well, let's have a look at those players individually and specifically. Let's have a look at Jadon Sancho playing ostensibly in a substandard Bundesliga that a lot of those teams wouldn't stack up in our league and say, is he a £75 million footballer? He was crap before Rangnick came along. He's not much better now. Look at Rashford, look at these players, look at Maguire, look at all of them and say, actually, when we look at what they've bought against what others have bought, have they really bought? What can you do with Pogba? Pogba for 5 years has defied logic.
I was wondering what you were going to say there. Whoa!
I thought you would get it for 5 years.
Oh, did you not say for 5 years?
Pogba,
that would have been sensational.
Oh, no.
Good morning, everybody.
I've done that already once on the show before.
Stay on the air.
For
here
5 years has defied logic from elite managers of all shapes and guises. So here we are today, and I agree with you that I thought Rangnick was going to be more. I thought there was going to be a little bit more of the Ron seal about him, and there's not. It's not the guy that I thought it was going to be, but this club is becalmed. And now we're talking about these players spend more time with energy off the field with things that they're trying to correct. Marcus Rashford correcting people's perspective about what's going on with him behind the scenes. Cristiano Ronaldo correcting people's perspective of what happened to him with the fan than actually doing it on the pitch. It is as much to do with the players and as much to do with a management structure behind the manager. I don't care. Erik ten Hag will walk into this club unless he's given a better framework to work in. He's going to suffer as well.
That's true, yeah.
He's going to have the same problems as well.
If those players stay.
If the whole framework of Man United isn't root and branched, it isn't. You can't, with due respect to these guys, Fletcher, Murtough, Richard Arnold, right? They are not the best in class for that football club to get them to even have a whiff of City and Liverpool.
Correct.
Eric, I don't care who you bring in there. You can bring in Houdini to escape from the problems, and you can bring in Harry Potter to have the magical hands. You're not going to get proper people in there unless you get proper people to do jobs.
The entire country is behind you, Mr. Jordan. I can tell you with what I'm looking at the conversations that are taking place, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Go on, Simon. Simon, with you all the way. Simon is on the money. He's right. Yeah, I mean, almost to a man, Danny, these United players are playing for the futures. Not the next, they're playing for the futures.
Well, some aren't they? If it's depending on their own individual positions. But he's right in terms of head of recruitment. The whole recruitment structure has been wrong for a long time. That's proven with the players that they've brought in. The sports science department, if you look at the physicality of the players, which Rangnick's been talking about, we discussed that last week. There's so many aspects of the club that need changing, but delegating these positions and changing it all in one foul swoop, if you like, is not what United have normally done in the past, but maybe they're going to have to be drastic. But if you bring in one coach and expect him to do it on his own with a bit of help from one or two of his staff, I don't think things will change. I think you're right. I think it needs to be a complete reset, and that's really difficult.
We're going to talk Ronaldo after this break. Simon, do you now concede Rangnick's made them worse?
I made them worse than
They might as well still have Ole.
In order to concede that point, I have to qualify that I believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have taken them further down. So they might have all ended up in the same space. They would have all gone down the same rabbit hole. This group of players would have taken anybody down that rabbit hole. The problem is that Rangnick was designed to be the fix. He hasn't been a fix, he's just been the same. They're the same group of players operating in the same way with the same set of outcomes.
It's a busy old rabbit hole.